Hello, Taurus. How's everybody doing today? I hope that you are doing fantastic, and I can't wait to share all the messages that I've been able to channel for you this morning. A lot coming through and a lot about growth, actually. Growth that's already underway and just requires a little bit of movement on your part. So I can't wait to share that. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh, and we're going to be looking at the sign of Taurus. You can watch this for sun, rising, and moon. Sometimes I forget to mention that. You can also watch on behalf of anyone in your life that you love, or if you know other placements in your chart. The way that I work is that I'm a psychic intuitive. I also channel. And so when you show up, even if it's not your sign or if it's a remote placement, there may be messages for you, particularly here at the beginning part. So I hope that you stick around, and I hope that the messages resonate with you. I read for 1 month in advance, so this will be for April, but a lot of the messages that we see right here and right now might resonate in the present. So it's basically a 30 to 60 day forecast depending on when you show up. I separated into a few distinct parts. I start with channeled messages at the beginning, then we look at the cards. In the cards, I let whatever come through that needs to come through to basically show up, and then I look at the expanded forecast with health, wealth, love, and destiny. We go a little deeper in the end. Let me put down Apollo so we can focus. And then I focus on something I call the soul path, where if there's something major that shows up or something that could be a place of growth or blockage, then we'll go deeper into that. And then we'll meditate. And a lot of times at the end, I'll pull an additional card for the next week ahead for you as well. So there's a lot to enjoy and unpackage today. So thank you for showing up, everybody. And before I get started, first of all, I'd like to welcome everyone. Good to see so many friendly faces, familiar and actually new here in the chat before I showed up. I appreciate your presence today. Thank you to my moderators for giving me a hand. Both Maria and Dakota are here if you have any questions. Quick note before I get started, I don't answer questions during the reading, but I do support Super Chat. It's a great way for you to give back a little bit and help me continue to expand my supplies and also just the amount of work that I can put into the production. So there's a little tiny icon here by the emojis, and that will help you send a super sticker or an encouraging comment. And I just want to say I appreciate it because even the little things like this, all the note cards that I have to buy, it helps me when you guys give back a little bit. Okay, so let's get into the reading and talk about what I was seeing. So I'm going to start with a message that came through from my guides in dreams. And I was confused at first until I did a little bit of research. I actually really enjoy these readings because I learn things about the different parts of nature and the animals and the universe, because I'll just kind of like surrender to the message that I'm receiving and say, okay, show me where this is going. So what I saw this morning was an Amaryllis. And here in North America, usually you would see this around Christmas because it's a forced bloom, I think, but they sell it around the holiday season here. So right around Thanksgiving and Christmas, you can buy this bulb in the store. But I did a little research on its origin, and I guess it's South African and Australian. I guess those are places where it grows more naturally. And there it actually grows in March, and we're looking at this reading in March. So that's kind of cool, and it's associated with Easter. And that wasn't something that I knew, just kind of here in America, a lot of times we just see it in the stores, like again, around Christmas or something. So it's a bulb that I've grown many times on my own. And it was cool as a kid because you could sit there and watch it. And it's a gigantic bloom. I went into the meaning or the etymology of the name, and it means to sparkle or to shine. It comes from a Greek root. I thought that was gorgeous because that's just like a star, right? And also there are certain varieties. If you go to like the Wikipedia page, you can see one of it where it doesn't have any leaves. There's leaves on a plant next to it, but it actually comes up just bare. You just see the blossom. And so sometimes it's even called naked, certain varieties. And that also is very much like the star card, because I talk about nudity in the tarot, it's not something that's salacious. Whenever you see deities, so sometimes it's on the court cards, but it's usually always on something like the world or the star card, because in sort of old-fashioned paintings and sculptures, if you ever saw someone naked, it was typically a god, because basically there was nothing to hide, and it was a sign of power and strength. So when I see this flower come up and just push the flower up, no leaves, and it very much has the energy to me and the divinity of the star, and the fact that the word comes from to shine or to sparkle in Greek, thought was gorgeous. So what a great spirit totem you got today. It's the Amaryllis. And again, sparkle or shine, which is almost a message to you that that's part of what you need to do this month. Some of the varieties, like I said, just come up and just show what they need to show. It's almost like there's no artifice, no beating around the bush. It's literally just saying, here's what I have to offer. And I like that directness of this. Let me talk a little bit about how it showed up in my dream. What I saw was like a shelf of them, and they were growing already. And I felt the need to plant them. I was traveling or needing to go to another destination, but I said, I need to stop. This needs to happen now. To me, that's like a gigantic seed, like an ace of pentacles, if you will. And I felt that for some of you, this could mean that you are sitting on something really powerful that needs to, you need to take action on this month. So if you've been putting it off because of timing, money, uncertainty, the pandemic, etc., now is the time to sort of let that go and take the leap, because I saw all of the upward growth, but the roots were missing. The grounding was missing on this. So basically, it's time to take action and give yourself that sort of room to spread and grow and put down some feelers, or take this idea that you have and plant it and trust it and know that it will grow. The other thing here, like I said, basically, yeah, it just needs a little bit of TLC. So growth has already happened, but you have to believe in it and you have to sort of nurture it. If you don't do that, I feel like, as I was saying here, there's this sense of urgency. You could miss an opportunity, a window of opportunity, and I don't want you to do that. So I think the encouraging thing here is that with a little bit of attention, a little bit of faith, a little bit of you just sort of being present and opening up to it, I think that you could accomplish a lot this month. Because unlike, so I was reading for Aries the other day, it felt like they were making up for lost time. I feel like you already have everything that you need, and it's just a matter of activating. So there's a common thread between the two, but dare I say, Taurus, if you have a little bit more to work from, so use it. You have a head start, okay? And again, I was looking at the timing. It's now. So that's why you're coming here today, and that's why I read ahead of time. So the growth is happening in March. The bloom may happen in April, this beautiful sort of energy, but you need to show up now. So the fact that you're watching live is good. All right, let's look now at some other pieces of this. I also had a guide that came through that for me was someone who's already passed, and they represented death and rebirth for me. So I also feel like for some of you, this could be a chance for you to breathe new life into something that you maybe didn't have luck with in the past. Because when I think of Easter, it's like resurrection, right? Even the fact that this flower is also used for Christmas, it's also resurrection energy. So the Amaryllis is definitely connected with death and rebirth, or stagnation and creation. So this is a time to kind of break through the boundary. And this time you're going to push through and you're going to get something done. And I'm excited to see what that is for you. So as we look at the cards today, we'll drill a little bit deeper into that. But beautiful flower, very unusual. And I thought, why is it coming through right now? Because I didn't realize in other parts of the world, it was kind of like associated with different seasons. All right, your guides are coming through. And this was a really interesting message I got a couple of nights ago. I feel like for some of you, they're wanting to know how you want them to show up. And I don't know if you have some fear or disbelief. When you don't believe the messages coming through, I kind of got this, the guides were getting more and more direct with you. So that could maybe be annoying. It could be through a repetitive dream or a thought or a message that you're seeing around, like as you're driving or listening to television or whatever, you're going to kind of get hammered with the same message. Pay attention, open up a little bit, and let them know how you want to receive. Would you rather just be able to like write it down like I do in the morning, or dream it, or hear it, or see it? Because I can move between all of those things, and you can too. You just have to choose what's like, I guess, less intimidating or less frightening for you. Because I feel like once you go from being afraid to being curious to being excited when it comes to spirituality, that's when you become magical, right? When it starts to become something where it's just this cool thing that you can tap into, and it helps you get through some of the rough patches or avoid them altogether. So your guides seemed very helpful. One of the messages that they wanted me to impart or deliver to you is that Please don't wait until it's too late. Take the leap of faith now. What they showed me was you present with them at the end of your life, looking back and thinking, I should have done that. Why wasn't I paying attention? So the message is also pay attention. We're trying to help you. We're trying to guide you. So if you keep hitting a brick wall, that's a message. If you keep seeing or hearing the same thing, that's a message. If you feel this desire to do something and it's inexplicable, it's just like, I don't know why, but I need to do this. That's them whispering to you. So they're ready. They're around you. They're supporting and supportive. And so now's just the chance to sort of like ask. You have to ask also, especially when it comes to archangelic help. And sort of a good way of asking is saying, help me see the clearest path. Help me get out of my way. Help me be successful in this endeavor and show me what I need to see. Rather than asking for money, rather than asking for love, ask like what you need to work on, show the opportunities around you, because they're very good at revealing, encouraging. It's not a matter of sort of like giving you something. It's more about showing you how to do it, because you're here to figure that out. And that's a more effective way to pray and manifest. And it's less demanding. All right. The other thing that they were showing me was a service-oriented message. So I feel like you have to first get through your path, but then you'll have a chance to help others. And I think you should do it. Service is such a great exchange. I put experience, but it's an exchange. So if you can get to the point where you figured something out and there's someone in your life that would like some help, when you do that, you're going to get so much back in return as well, because you're sharing and you're elevating and you're passing on the baton. And that's what we're supposed to be doing on this planet. It's not just about us. Initially, yes, we're supposed to be learning, but we're also supposed to be learning how we're all connected. When we help someone else, we're helping ourselves. When we hurt someone else, we're hurting ourselves. So by helping the collective, you're helping yourself too. So it's win-win. But if you feel this desire to mentor, to teach, to do curriculum, to write, to do something artistic and share it with the world, all of those things are ways of giving back. It doesn't have to be a one-on-one thing. It could just be leaving something behind for the world. One of the things that I was picking up on was a sense of fear. And the whole time they were trying to show me that they were there to help you. So don't be afraid of anything that's going on in your life. If there's exciting change, if you're opening up intuitively, if there's something and you just feel a little overwhelmed, breathe through that experience, meditate and sit with yourself a little bit. And I feel like you're going to get a lot of clarity and your gifts are going to open up. These are gifts when you're intuitive. You wouldn't be showing up to my reading if you weren't already a little bit awake. And I'm here to kind of pry open that third eye and help you see things a little clearer as well. One thing that I'd like you to focus on in everyday communication is to tailor your message. I was getting a feeling that for some of you, it would be necessary to kind of like read the room and perhaps, here, I wrote it down. Listen to the other person and meet them where they are before you go higher. You definitely don't want to go lower. But sometimes if, you know, I've had one-on-one appointments before where I'll ask a question at the beginning, hey, how's it going? And I'm not expecting that someone's going to say like terrible, but I've gotten that before. So then I have to pause before I get into what we're going to be doing or whatever. I need to figure out what happened so that I can meet them there and then try to lift them up. But if I stay here the whole time, they don't feel like I'm empathizing, and it's true. So I have to come down a little bit, feel what they're feeling, and help lift them up. So if you have something that you're trying to do and you're talking to someone, a boss, a coworker, a loved one, a friend, an adversary, whatever, you have to start off by understanding where they're at. Because if you don't, you're talking around them. You're not actually talking to them or with them. So meet the person at the level and then try to elevate if you can. Even if you just push it up a notch, you succeeded. And then maybe you can push it up another notch the next time. So it's not always about going straight up here. You have to kind of like sometimes lift people up very, very slowly. And I think that that's any progress that you can make there is good progress. And sometimes we have to do this when it is someone that we are contracted to be with. So again, maybe it's a mother or father and we're younger and we have to work with them. Or there's like a boss situation, or you've agreed to do something with someone and this is going to benefit both of you. So you don't mind putting in that extra work to kind of lift them up a little bit. But that's what I kind of get, that it's almost like when you have a flat tire on a car and you have to kind of use the jack to pump it up. You can't do it all at once. You have to baby steps. And that's what they're kind of showing me there, right? Okay. Let's move on to the next piece here. For those of you that might be either in a new relationship or perhaps at a new job, specifically for those of you that are in a job, but this could also work with any sort of relationship, I got the feeling that it's going to be super important to get to know the background, not like all the previous, it's not about who knows who and all of this, but it's more about what the person is able to bring to the table. Because in a working situation, what I was seeing is that it's almost like the superior was condescending to the person that was coming in, and they didn't realize either that person was at that level or supported someone like that before, and there was this wealth of knowledge. And as a leader, you need to do your homework, but also as someone who might be working with a leader, you can also help them see it and say, let's take a pause for a second. I just want to let you know I've done this, this, and this before, and I'm really interested in helping out with this. And I just wanted to let you know that before we get started so that we can be set up for success or whatever, because I feel like they may be surprised at knowing that you have certain skill sets. In a relationship, this is also really interesting because you may have something that you want to do in your life and explore, and the partner isn't aware of this gift or this dream or this passion. And so there's really this necessary dance that you need to have at the beginning to get to know each other. Very close to what I was talking about with communication in general. So if you're starting a new job, if you're in a new relationship, the sort of courtship period is super important. Have a lunch, get to know someone at work, go for coffee or whatever it is that you can do to kind of break the ice, and don't make it all business. Really get to know the person behind the title, behind the job, behind the responsibility. And in a partnership, maybe just check in occasionally and say, are you happy? Is there anything that you want to do? How can I help you? How can I support you? It's a really nice thing to hear. We don't do that often because we get busy and we get kind of like pulled into our own sense here. So again, in partnerships, get to know the other person, vice versa. Make sure that they're getting a chance to see and hear you, because I felt like something could be missed, something could be underutilized. And guess what? Sometimes people aren't good at tuning into you. So you have to then say, I have something that I need to talk to you about. And it can't wait. We need to talk about this. This is something. So get on the calendar, get some FaceTime, especially if it's a busy boss or a busy coworker, and say, this is something that I want. Raise your hand and say, I'm confused at why I wasn't considered for this opportunity. Did you know I was interested? And if not, then that's fine. But I'm interested in doing the next thing that comes along. And I want to make sure that I put in my hat for this, basically. So I think it's important to speak up, because that's how people move ahead if you need to. It's not always fun. I know the beginning of my career, I was very kind of quiet, and that didn't always serve me well. And so I learned how to speak up when I needed to. So if you need to speak up, speak up. It's nice when you have something to say too, especially if you are kind of like a reserved or quiet type. When you come forward and say, no, this is important to me, and I don't say this often, and you know that, they're going to pause and think, yeah, you're right. All right, I need to listen to this person. Also, for those of you that might be kind of re-entering the workplace after a period of under or unemployment, I saw that there could be something that was like temp to perm, a shorter term engagement that could become permanent, but it did require all of the stuff that we were just talking about. Getting to know them, letting them see that you have other things, making them realize you're not just a temp, and finding a way. You're going to have to break through these sort of traditional, I guess, hierarchy there, and they need to get to know you. So however you can do that, however you need to show up, I felt like there was an opportunity there. One last thing though, and I think this is the most important thing before we get started. My guides wanted me to remind you that money is not the only currency. Happiness, time, love, all these other things, learning things, growing, those are really important. So measure the experience or the opportunity by all of those other things. How are you going to grow? How are you going to feel? What is this going to bring to your life besides money? So we all have to take certain opportunities in our life because of that, but we shouldn't let that be the only thing. And this is true of relationships too. Just because you were pressured by family or you want to buy a house or something weird and materialistic like that, that shouldn't be the main reason to be in a relationship. There should be more to it. And you have a lot to bring to the stage too. And the Amaryllis was showing me that. The bulb basically is all this stored experience. It's kind of like if we were to slice in and look at a tree, all those rings, it's many years of experience that allow that flower to blossom. So you're ready. You've done the work. You have all the rings of experience around you. It's just your time to push through. So you're either going to allow the other person to see it, or you're going to maybe do it on your own, because the star card doesn't need anybody to support it. It's one of entrepreneurship or independence as well. All right. I'm going to neatly stack up these index cards. And if you didn't see anything, don't worry. I kind of summarized it here at the beginning, but at the midpoint, I will show all of them one more time, and we'll kind of reflect upon how they connect to the cards that we're going to look at in just a moment. So really great to see everybody today. And this is a fun time to do readings too, because again, the energy of, we're right on the equinox, right? So we're right at the change of seasons. So spring in the northern hemisphere, and I guess it's fall in the southern. We're heading upon that, but the transformative energy is there, and I talked about that in my newsletter this month. And let's see how we can move and transform this month for the sign of Taurus. All right, I'm going to turn the camera down and really just focus on the messages here for a moment. So please be patient. Thank you so much for those of you that are giving some super chats right now. I appreciate you. Makes a big difference. And as I said before, I'm an intuitive channel, so these messages may resonate. I see someone saying they just popped in for the beginning. Stick around as long as you feel like it's resonating, because that's kind of how I do the work. If you're in the room, I can pick up messages for you, or if you watch it later. Whoa, that one literally flew out of the deck. Okay. All right, everyone, thank you so much for giving me a moment to get everything set up here. We have Phlox as your catalyst card here. And the catalyst is a way for you to stay in the highest energy and to kind of avoid any missteps. The message here is unanimity and harmony. And then it says, he who lives in harmony with himself lives in harmony with the universe. Great quote there. What I like about this is knowing yourself and being at peace with yourself actually helps you show up as a very strong person. It's a way to get to confidence, even if you don't have it initially. Just kind of being comfortable in your skin, I think, could be the first thing that you could focus on, especially with respect to this message. Unanimity is an interesting word, unanimous, trying to have, I feel like sometimes if you truly are in that star energy, you don't have to worry about that so much. The harmony piece is, I really feel like this is you. So when you are there, other people will want to meet you at that place. So this is the one place where day-to-day life, the way that you hold yourself, the way that you speak, the way that you feel, it starts to radiate. And then that is an attractive force. So I feel like the harmony is the important thing. Harmony within basically attracts that around you. And the unanimous sort of agreement and decisions and sort of partnerships happen because of the harmony within. So I think focus less on trying to get along with everyone, really understand yourself, be yourself, and then let people either come or move away as they need to. Just as in a solar system, the sun decides, I guess, on some levels through gravity, where things are going to be, which things are going to be jettisoned out of the system, which things can stay in, and you have the same energy. And when you are a star, basically that's what has to happen. I'm talking in a sort of figurative sense. When you shine brightly, then people will either decide that, yeah, that's my frequency, or that's too bright, or I don't like it, or I'm going to go all the way out to Pluto because I can't be in that energy. So let them find their orbit around you, and you just do yourself, your whatever your kind of energy is, and let everyone else figure themselves out as well. All right, let's focus on the center cards, because this is where the work needs to happen. Everything else is pretty good, but there's a little bit of work at the center. It has to do with healing, and we have the Three of Swords crossed by the Tower. So the Three of Swords can oftentimes be coming through when we are upset at ourselves, at how a situation worked out. Notice how this one is really more a cognitive Three of Swords than stuck in your heart space. So for some of you, there could be this feeling of, it's not fair, it's not right, or I deserve that, or why now, or why not? Like there's these kind of questions of, what do you call it? Accountability, not accountability. Feeling like you deserve something automatically. And the message here is, things either did or didn't happen because the timing was or wasn't right for you. So you're ready exactly when you're ready. If it didn't happen, it will happen when the time is right and when you have accepted that. So, so yeah, I feel like for you, if you could release this feeling that somehow the universe is not seeing you or understanding you, because I saw 4 guides, by the way, coming through for you. So there were a lot of guides. They're there for you, and they're kind of perplexed at why you're perplexed at some of these things. They were sort of showing you that it's kind of like pinball. They pushed you in and out of certain things so that you wouldn't have to go through that, because maybe you've already learned the lesson, or you didn't sign up for that lesson in this lifetime. So this is about perception. All right, someone broke up with you. Perhaps that's because there's a better person around the corner that understands you, that is exactly what you've done the work on yourself, and maybe the person that you were with wasn't in that frequency. If you were in a job and you were laid off because of the pandemic, or because the company was just merging or doing something like that, again, there was a place perhaps that you could grow more, because what I saw was no roots. So I feel that whatever you were doing previously, you weren't allowed to put the roots down and properly grow. You were showing all the signs of the growth, but you weren't being set up for a firm foundation. And that, my friend, is why we have the Tower card on top of it, which is also showing the Eye of Horus or the Eye of Ra up there, which is saying this is divinely guided. This is not a punishing tower. This is a tower of, let's try it differently. Let's rebuild. Let's do something stronger. Let's get a firmer foundation. So pay attention to that. This is why the guides are showing, we're actually here. We're moving you. We're trying to help you. Pay attention, and we'll help you more, and it won't have to be this difficult. And so that's it. Let's assume that the worst is over and the best is coming. It's happening now, because I already saw the plant growing, and there's still more yet to come, right? So yes, there's been some challenges. We've all been through the Three of Swords over 2020. I think everybody's lost or felt some sort of grief or sadness. If not, then you're extremely strong. Many of us have had good years, but there's still been, you couldn't not tap into what's been going on a world stage. So now is the time for massive change and rebuilding. And guess what? 2021 is pretty much the sort of like the remnants of the Tower. We're still going through that. So I think everybody thought on New Year's it would be a brand new year and everything would change, but we're sliding into change, and it's going to continue to get better and better and better, but we're still in the Tower energy, right? So that's okay, because massive change can happen in the wake of a tower. I'm one of the few readers that gets kind of excited when I see something like the Tower, depending on where it shows up, because it gives you the opportunity, if you want to say the permission or the excuse, to do what you need to do without judgment. In this particular time in history, you can basically shift around and do whatever you need to, because the world is so topsy-turvy. So I would take advantage of that and chase your dreams. Do it before it's too late. That's what the guides were saying for you. All right, so let's move on to the next message here. Thank you so much for my moderators there. Let me just time that person out. All right, we have the Seven of Pentacles here in the deep past. And the Seven of Pentacles is a card of growth, but look at how she's showing the orbits that I was talking about, like the sun. The card is reversed in this particular spread. So what it's saying is continue to focus on the baby steps, working and growing and realizing that like that gigantic redwood didn't grow overnight, right? It took many, many years going from the sapling and kind of reaching up for the sun. So you've learned your lessons. You've learned what works and doesn't work. Build up from that. This is a card of recovery after you've had a difficulty in your life, a setback, even just a physical shift that's going on where maybe there was an injury and you're coming back from that. But ultimately, Seven of Pentacles is an opportunity. It's a good card, but it can come through when we're tempted, when we're uncertain, when we might even have a potential delay or block, but it's saying you can get past that because you've learned it. After this is the 8 and 9 of Pentacles, which are fantastic. 8 of Pentacles is basically knowledge acquisition. It's starting to master things. Of course, 3 of Pentacles is mastery, but what I'm seeing with this is that you have what it takes to get to the next level, to graduate. So just choose to graduate, okay? The next thing that we have here is the 4 of Pentacles in the recent past. So for those of you watching now, you're somewhere between these two cards. So this one is saying, I have what it takes to recover, but I feel a little triggered. And this one is saying, okay, I'm ready to rebuild. Notice how this is coming after the big sandcastle was sort of pushed down. It's all right. Now I'm going to start again. It's almost like he's the magician. If you look really closely here, I'm going to rebuild. One of the most powerful 4 of Pentacles that I've seen, actually. And the message on this one is power. So you have what it takes, but you have to believe it. 4 of Pentacles usually shows a big coin over top of the heart space, and the person's kind of like holding it tightly, protecting themselves, worried about if they can do it in the future. Will I have enough? Is this all there will ever be? So this month, release those kinds of thoughts and instead think, I can't wait to start again. I can't wait to see where this leads. I can't wait to build things up a little bit. And some exciting things will happen as you start to do that. The next card here in the crowning position is the Magician. And as I said, we have the Magician energy already present here with the 4 of Pentacles. So moving into this creative flow is really what all of this has set you up for. So this, my friend, is what you should be focusing on, not this. This was saying, I have had enough of that. I will accept that the change was necessary and even, in fact, divinely guided. I am creating something stronger. I am the sun. These are the orbits of creation around me. I'm in a very powerful 4 of Pentacles rebuilding state, and I can take it anywhere I want to because I have all the requisite skills. I've learned the lessons. The Magician is a jack of all trades. It truly is able to access all the elements, all the possibilities, and it marches to the beat of its own drum. I love that we have a very shaman type magician card here. So you have to kindle the fire. You have to set your own course, your own path, and you have to continue to believe that you can do this. As I was kind of preparing for today's reading, I was thinking about that because of the tentativeness that was coming through for some of you with how you felt about spirituality, perhaps because of what the guides were saying. And I think it's so powerful when you can finally just kind of celebrate your strength, your power, your intuition, and realize that magic is real. I wrote in my book a line saying like magic is just a new truth waiting to be discovered. I think that was Elijah that said it. So I believe that. That's something I believe, and I think it's a good bumper sticker. So we call it magic because we don't understand it. But the truth is, it's there. Intuition is real. Magic is real. Belief is part of it. Ritual is part of it. Understanding it is part of it. Having fun is also a piece of that. And if you can do that, then I think some really cool stuff can happen. Walk into your inner magician this month, okay? Nothing negative to say about this one because you've already been through it. I don't need to go to the lower frequency pieces of this. Just focus and believe. Those two things are required for the magician to work. Because even if we go to a traditional, what we think of a magician now, not truly like a magic worker, but it's sort of like them showing you something and they believe it and they make you believe it. That's really the power of a magician that's basically just putting on a show. But a true magic worker, whether you want to call that person a druid, a witch, a magician, a shaman, they actually know that this can work. And sometimes people around them don't understand that, but they can hopefully bring the believers in there. There's a different type of magic. So don't fall for the fake magician. You be the real magician. You're the real McCoy, right? Okay. We have the Page of Pentacles. Look at how you're working upward here too, from that triggering moment in the past to the rebuilding powerful moment now to, hey, I'm a knight now, I can move forward. So we have the Prince of Pentacles here. By the way, that's you, Taurus, right there, right? So this was a perfect representation of you. Are you ready to move forward? I hope you are. The card is reversed, so there could be for you this feeling of, can I be 100% myself? Should I be this bold? Should I go there? Yeah, you're Taurus. You should be. And I am too. It's my ascendant. Not my ascendant. It's my moon sign. My ascendant's Capricorn. I have a lot of Earth in my chart in addition to being Libra. So with this, what I understand sometimes is the emotional component of it. So for those of you like me who are a moon in Taurus, the thing that can happen sometimes is you can get stuck in your head because you feel the energy of fear. It's a difficult sign to have in your moon. It's better to have in business. So if you have this in your ascendant, the Prince is saying, move forward, be bold. If you have it in your moon, it's saying, don't get caught up in your emotions. Focus on what's going on. Get back into the magician energy. And if you have it in your sun sign, then it's saying, don't let one little setback hold you back because the forward momentum is going to move you forward no matter what. So no matter where this is in your chart, it's basically saying the positive aspect of Taurus is that ability to be bold, to move something, and also to be a force to be reckoned with, right? Because when Taurus is powerful, people aren't going to mess with you. So I feel like if you can just own that power, you'll be okay no matter where this sits in your chart, okay? And I was missing the roots and your Earth. So I want you to do something this month that allows you to feel the ability to plant the roots. We're going to work on that in the meditation at the end of the reading, so I hope you stick around. All right. This is also a card of investment when it's reversed, and it's investing in oneself. So what is it that you want to do this month to bring you to that feeling of being powerful, ready, and basically charging forward? If there's something where you're feeling like, I just wish I knew a little bit more about this, or I'd like a little bit more time on this, then spend that time to do self-improvement, to educate, to get a certification, to heal, because this can also be a card of healing, the Seven of Pentacles. Do the healing, do the inner work, because then that's going to bring you to Eight of Pentacles, which is, yeah, look at me. This is actually in production. This is working. I can see it moving. Okay. You'll get a return on this investment. I see for you this sort of juggling around, like you have the Seven of Pentacles, you move to the Four of Pentacles, but then you actually end up with the Knight of Pentacles. So there's a little bit of a trade-off. You'll have to give something up to get what you want, but it feels like it's worth the exchange. Okay. We have the King of Swords in reverse in your ego this month, in self. And what it's basically saying again is, if I believe it, I can do it. If I don't, then I'm my own worst enemy. And also, I need to be cognizant of how I'm communicating with others. I like King and Queen of Swords. I don't mind when they're reversed. I do think, however, when it is in the ego position, it can sometimes remind you, don't forget to tune in. And because you have the energy of the bull here as well, there is a fine line between being just bold and bombastic. So figure out how to temper the communication, and the timing is everything. But definitely speak up. Let's not disrespect the King of Swords reverse. He's coming through saying, all right, there's things that you have to say them. There's things that you have to do them. And if you need to sign a contract or move forward, make sure that it's fair for you. This is all about editing it and asking for whatever it is that you want. He took the Three of Swords and he's made them into these sort of guides up here. That's what I'm seeing when I look at this. Because a lot of times swords in different decks, like Wildwood, for instance, and various other decks, you'll see even, I'm trying to think of another one here. I think it's Light Seers might have it too. You'll see birds associated with swords. So I see that not only is he carrying his sword, but now he has the three swords from before. And he's able to actually use that experience to guide him towards a better path. So I like that. So take whatever it is in your past that has ruffled your feathers or made you feel uncomfortable, and grow from it, learn from it, and don't repeat it. And that's the cool thing in life. We're supposed to kind of like scrape our arm, break an ankle, do whatever we're supposed to like, and then heal from that and get better. It's very rarely a perfect path from beginning to end. The messiness sometimes is the magic and the beauty of it. You are a survivor. We have the 9 of Wands here. I like that this card actually has the word strength at the top of it. We also have a very, very strong and I would say resilient figure here on the card. The sort of bandage is replaced with a headband here. So one thing that I would always say with the 9 of Wands is keep your head in the right place. And if you're starting to feel a lot of stress or pressure here, do what you need to do to get rid of that before you use your voice or write something. So if you're pushed down energetically, this can be pressure because it's in your environment. So people around you could be putting too much on your plate, could be putting too much blame on you, could actually be saying things that aren't right. It's a pushy card. So remember, you're the bull. Push right back if you need to, stand up for yourself, or walk away from the situation if it's not worth your time and energy. But the 9 of Wands does tell me that if you put your mind to anything, you can finish it. And you can also push through a kind of challenging situation and meet your adversary face to face, and maybe, like I said, help them go to a higher frequency. So rather than kind of pushing horns together, you can kind of go up higher and maybe work together and move on. That's the eventual goal here. 9 of Wands tells me that if there's something that you're working on a project level, you're close to completion, but not completely there. So this is saying don't give up. There really is a perseverance energy that comes through with this. So no matter what's going on, I believe that you'll find a way through it. But self-care is important, and you shouldn't be subject to bullying, abuse, or unnecessary pressure to do something that doesn't feel right. If that happens with the 9 of Wands, then you have to push back and ask for help if you need to, okay? Let's go to another 9 here in your opportunity space. It's the 9 of Cups. This is that joy after you actually successfully get through the challenge. And I like how she's kind of skipping upon the water here. With any 9 card, whether it's the 9 of Cups or the 9 of Swords or the 9 of Pentacles, any of them, sometimes there is this going overboard. With the 9 of Cups here, you can lose your sort of understanding of where you're at. And if she stops feeling the sense of joy, there's a chance that she could sink on this. So I want you to be aware of where you're at, not get carried away, not go too high, not go too low. But this is a celebratory card, and I'd like to celebrate the energy of success here. So take some time and enjoy life. Remember what the guides were saying in the channeled messages. If not now, then when? And why not now? And why are you waiting? And every day there should be something that you're working on that makes you feel a sense of excitement, jubilation, intrigue. You should feel the vitality when you're getting up. And if that's absent from your life, then the 9 of Cups is saying, now is your time to find a way to get it. We have the Chariot in the outcome here. I love that there's so many cows in this deck. I didn't remember that when I picked it. I was just looking through and saying, oh, I haven't used this in a while. This is the one I'm going to do. So the universe guided me to this. So the Chariot, having cows here for you today. Basically, the card was reversed. So for some of you, this is a time to reclaim. It's like a reclamation card to take back the power. The interesting thing with power is that it's something that we often choose to release or give away. You always have the ability to take the reins and pull it back. Also, you are the bull here, right? So you have the ability to pull someone else in the right direction, or lead the charge, right? And the only thing that I see with this particular Chariot is that these bulls aren't headed in the same direction. And so for you, there could be a partnership that needs to dissolve. So part of the healing this month could be a separation. Even though I would normally read Justice, reverse perhaps is that, the combination of the 3 of Swords, which often comes in the wake of a breakup, and the Tower tells me that you're deciding. By the way, the sideways or upside down Tower is actually beneficial. This is saying, this doesn't work. I'm ready for something else. I'm going to uproot myself and go somewhere else. Or that could also have been the reason that I didn't see the roots. But I'm going to pick myself up and I'm going to be fine because I'm capable of surviving. I have the strength necessary for that. Okay. But ultimately, you should be the one that is in control or reclaiming power or leading the charge. You pick whatever metaphor you want here. But if you can't somehow show what you can do, manage a little bit more, speak up a little bit more, etc. The Chariot is saying that you need to find a place where that can happen, where you can be that person, where you can be both the Chariot and also the bull. So anyway, hopefully that makes sense for you. We'll continue to connect the cards here as I go into the expanded forecast. We're going to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny next. All right, let's start with your health card, which for me includes mind, body, and spirit. This particular health card is reversed, and it says heart awakening, awaken to accept awaken to acceptance and divine love, give and receive in balance. So let me hold the card up so that you can read it and take in the imagery, which is really beautiful. And it's interesting that we are talking about the heart because the Four of Pentacles can often show a heart blockage that you are kind of, for some reason, holding in, holding back, or that there's a necessary healing that has to happen because the Three of Swords literally is the heart, right? So let's take it on a sort of just surface level. For those of you that might have a history of heart disease, blood pressure, cholesterol issues, this is taking care of your heart, or eating and living your life in a way that is kinder to your heart. On an emotional and a spiritual level, it's following your heart's desire and allowing the heart to be one of these bulls that is pulling the chariot. Let it lead you. Let it be your compass. And I think that's the most important thing that I would say here with that is really find peace. I look at the rose and I look at the pink rose in particular, and that's like rose quartz. And the rose color, even though green is the color of the heart, rose is a really nice soft energy to use to transmute. And you can, this has come through before in various places, you can consume rose in jam, like rose hip jam, and there's tea that you can drink. And there's, of course, essence, but the essential oils are really expensive for rose. It's going to be one of the most expensive essential oils you can buy because it takes a lot of roses to make that. So if you want to put rose into your energy, try the tea, try the jam. And I think that's a great way to bring it in. And if you're having a hard time with somebody, maybe it's a partner, see if you can cook with this and both of you can eat it, because that's a way to bring that peaceful energy in there. Otherwise, you can use the scent, you can plant a rose, etc. Whenever I see the rose, there is something to remember with this, which is it's beautiful, but it's high maintenance and there's a lot of thorns on it. And so love, beauty, growth, all this stuff requires the sort of nurturing, the pruning, and the acceptance that there are thorns with the beauty. So nobody's perfect, especially a rose. A rose has a lot of pieces to it that need pruning. So this month is about the pruning for you. Maybe it's taking pieces of like habits in your life that you don't want, removing that. Maybe it's people that you're pruning. So habits, thoughts, energies, you're going to do the pruning and then you're going to see the growth, right? And sometimes it takes the loss to spur on the growth. If you don't prune a rose, it gets very long, it stops blooming as much. You have to go down to the nodes and basically prune it back. And then all of a sudden you get these really strong, powerful shoots that will come out. You can get it to bloom again in the same season. So if you've lost a job, if you've lost money, if you've had a health setback, this was the universe giving you that sort of prune in one area. And you're going to come back this month and say, all right, I'm going to grow now. Now, where can I grow? Where can I put this energy of growth? I am the rose. I can continue to move. Even if a piece of me was cut off, another piece of me can grow, figuratively speaking, since we're not like starfish or roses, but you know what I'm saying. Looking at other health messages, healing, talking to a therapist, dealing with literal and figurative issues of the heart. So if your heart is sad, if you're feeling sad, heal that. If you're having heart problems, obviously you should go to a doctor. Turn off the reading and go to a doctor now. But this is about rebuilding things all together and being stronger for it. The Magician is about focusing on something positive and making that happen. It's part of manifestation, the Magician and the High Priestess. And by the way, she shows up here in your Destiny card. So you're basically in the energy of manifestation, but you have to believe it. We'll get to her in a second. The only other thing that I would say is not to go to extremes this month. This can be overeating, over drinking, not exercising enough, exercising too much. Don't do anything in excess. Moderate it. Be in control of it. And I think that's the key thing that is important for you. Okay. Let's move along to wealth and career. And for those of you that are retired, this can be life purpose. We have infinite abundance. Amen to that. Abundance is pouring into your life. I like that. And I think the important thing for you to look at with this card is that we see everybody working together. Sharing was part of it. Service was part of that. That was a message that I received for all of you earlier. So what you could be manifesting, if you'd like, is to have more than enough. So just like the Ace of Cups, your cup is running over and you can share it with everyone in your life. Picture that with money, with wealth, with personal development. Now, it's your job. If you see a company that's really, really successful and they're not investing back in you, then it's a selfish endeavor. It's something where they're not really interested in what you have to say, feel, or do. And if you try what we talked about and you try to talk to them and it doesn't work, well, it might be time for you to go into this sort of powerful energy of making your own sandcastle. Stop worrying about this place. Work on something stronger and bigger, and perhaps do that on your own. The other thing here is if you've had a period where you've suffered a setback, this is showing you that you have the requisite skills to build again, to basically start something stronger and better. And I love that, again, that he's the magician in that one as well. So I feel like no matter where you're at, you can go higher. Okay. So the question for you is, if that going higher is climbing a ladder, like at a corporation, are they willing to work with you? If not, take the energy and go somewhere else. If it's a relationship, the two of you should be supporting each other, like we see here in this picture. It should be familial. And if not, then why not? And that's really a bigger question that you have to think about. You shouldn't have to force it. This is a pushy card, and it's the environment. So you shouldn't have to force someone that you love to do something or see you or be on the same level if it's something that's mutually beneficial. So this is about trying to find that middle ground, or if the person is tuned out, then again, it might be time to rebuild, to move on. Whatever you're looking for this month, you have the power to shift things. So remember that part of that is reading the room, picking the time, and trying to, it's baby steps. I think if you're trying to bring someone from here to here, try to get it in the frame, it's not going to be successful. So you're going to have to kind of step up with them a little bit, and eventually you'll get to that higher level. Ultimately, I see growth. So that's the main message here. You should be growing, you should see growth, and you should open up to being able to grow again or grow more. Don't limit yourself. All right, I feel like I've said everything that I need to say about that. So let's look at love. We have Guardian of the Soul Family. The card was reversed. This looks a lot like a divine partnership to me. I like what I see here. The card was reversed. We also have the number 26 on this, so it could be towards the end of the month for you. But what I'm seeing here is that it's so interesting that the Guardian card comes on, and the Four of Pentacles can sometimes be overly guarding yourself, like closing off your heart space. This one is saying, open yourself up to love again, especially for those of you that have been hurt. If you're retired or if you're single and happy, this is about opening yourself up to new opportunities and new people, because love comes in many forms, including, animals, including best friends. It's not all about sex. Wouldn't it be boring if that's all that this planet was about, was like just sex? It's also about learning. It's about friendship. It's about, again, just being able to experience life. So when I look at love, I look at it on a much broader spectrum. It's not just about what's going on between the sheets. And so this is Guardian of the Soul Family. This is you guarding your heart. This is also you connecting to the higher guides and saying, guide me to that right partner. It can also be about love and sex, and we're going to look at that too here. But I'm saying that this is really paying attention to vulnerability, because the Guardian energy is about, am I ready for this? So pick and choose wisely. It's good to be discerning, but if you hold back everything, then yeah, it's hard to allow for new growth to come in. So one other thing that I would like to kind of talk about is for those, we're going to break it down into three pieces. If you're in a relationship, the requisite piece that you need to do right now is really to focus on the ability to rebuild, to grow, and to heal. And if you can't do that this month, then I think that it's going to be challenging for you. If the partner's not going to be there, if you're not able to do that, then this is basically saying, all right, it's time to move on. So when we see these two cards, I would say this comes to a point for some of you where you might need a third party to help out with it. So maybe a therapist, maybe some sort of third-party mediator to step in. And if that doesn't work, you know that you've given it your all. So that's part of it. This can also be personal growth that you have to do on yourself. So if there's something going on in your life, and this could be sadness, depression, something else going on, then allow yourself to really focus on rebuilding yourself, and then you can kind of figure out what to do with the partnership. So either the partnership communication is broken down because we have the King of Swords in reverse, or one or both of you might be in a place where you're not able to see each other eye to eye. So I feel like there's some communication issues that need to be solved, and also some personal growth. If you're single and happy, the Magician card is showing you anything is possible this month. And actually, this could be a time where you could be focusing on empowerment and taking the lead on things. If you're single and looking, you do have options coming through, but I really want it to not be a rebound, because this can sometimes be rebound energy. We have a Prince of Pentacles in the near future and the King of Swords representing you. And so what I would say with these two cards here is this one talks a lot, right? And may not be listening that much. This one is a very nurturing energy. Any sort of Pentacles card is great at taking care of people. So what I'm seeing here is that you or your partner may be playing that role of the nurturer. And then again, the other party is playing the role of maybe not paying attention, maybe asking for too much. So I think that the way to heal either a new relationship or an old relationship, if you're in one, is to really listen, really be present, and really to focus on giving and receiving. So reciprocity is the most important thing that I'm seeing with relationships this month. It's definitely possible, but I feel like with the Tower at the center, personal growth and development should take center stage. And then once you're feeling better towards the end of the month, which is again why we have like the number 26 here, that's when it's going to be a little bit more kind of like possible for you to go into the energy of really being with somebody else. We have the High Priestess here in the outcome, which I love. The High Priestess is manifestation. She's reversed though, and this is definitely in alignment with what your guides were talking about, which is you're receiving information, you're receiving feedback, you're receiving a nudge. Listen to it. I'm sure you've had situations in your life where you've met someone and you can read if it's going to be a best friend, if it's going to be an adversary, or if it's going to be something where you think, I just need to walk the other way. This isn't where I want to be. If you listen to it, sometimes it's interesting because you're not going to know if that's going to work out. But the times that you don't listen to it, I'm sure you felt like, if I'd only followed my gut instinct, I wouldn't have had to go through all of this. So my gift to you this month is listen to yourself, listen to your guides, and focus on manifesting. Focus on visualizing what it is that you want to create, what it is that you want to do, right? So I'm laughing at some of the comments here about someone saying that they listen to it and that's why they're single. So one thing that you can do, because my cards here are showing that you have double manifestation powers this month. So I want you to manifest that you can meet someone and that you're ready for it now, and that you've done the work that you need to do, because blessings and curses are very similar. Because if we believe that we can do something, we're blessing that path. So I would like to challenge you right now that you can find what you're looking for. Really look at yourself first, because the center cards were saying, can I do it? Am I ready? And if you don't have any sort of hesitation there, if you're like, heck yeah, I'm ready. I've done everything that I need to do. I'm ready to go on to the next level. Then send that out like an email to the universe and say, I'm ready to receive abundance in the highest forms now. And by now, I mean this year. Bring it on. Because now in spiritual terms can sometimes be vague. So you could say, by the end of the year, I'm ready to move on to a higher relationship, a better job, and I really want to feel good about where I'm at in my life. Let's work together. Let's make this happen every day. I'm going to work with you. We're manifesting. I'm ready. Show me the signs. Okay? So if you've been single, if you've been unemployed, if you've been feeling like you're somehow held back, the High Priestess is saying, honey, you can do this. You're like Isis. You can bring this through, right? So start to manifest it now, okay? And then stop saying I'm single because I'm going to be single. I hear what you're saying. When you're picky, it takes longer, and that's a good thing, because you could walk out the door and you could probably hang out with anyone that you want to. But when you are picky, it does take longer. But you can also say, it's been long enough. Let's make something happen, okay? And give it a realistic time frame. Say, like, by the end of this year, I'm ready to start to see some movement in that part of my life. All right, let's take a look at the messages that I talked about earlier. We're going to pull them into context into what I've already covered here in the cards, and then we're going to go a little bit deeper and maybe dig into why the tower is showing up, what you can rebuild, maybe look at the magician and the high priestess and what you can develop, all of that, okay? So the Amaryllis, beautiful flower, came through as your spirit totem today. And as I looked at this a little bit more, I was fascinated to find out that the etymology of it comes from the Greek word that means to sparkle or to shine. So this is your month to sparkle or to shine, just like the star card. And some of the varieties actually push out the flower before the leaves show up. And basically, when you look at the flower too, it's just like a star. This is a time for you to really be bold and to shine. As I was saying, star energy coming through, and part of this also involves not holding back. So the star doesn't apologize. It doesn't try to dim its light for others, right? I was also seeing that the roots were lacking in this bulb, but I was seeing all of the growth, and I felt like there was this sense of urgency, which I wrote here, like you needed to do something now. It required planting or some sort of feeding to happen now. So if there's a dream, a goal, something that you want to work on, this is the time to do it. Don't hold back. You really are ready to shine in this moment in time. The growth internally has already happened, even though some of you might still be reeling from that energy of the Three of Swords. It made you grow. It's like the pruning, and all of those beautiful sort of sprouts have happened that we were talking about with the rose energy there. Just every day you have to work on it a little bit. And because you got both the Magician and the High Priestess cards here, they're saying, all right, we're ready to show up if you're ready to show up. In different parts of the world, I was reading about the Amaryllis, and basically what happens is in March and April, that's when it grows and blooms. So guess what? It was perfectly timed for today's reading. The growth is happening. The blossom will probably happen for the month that I'm reading this for in April. I saw a guy that I associate with death and rebirth. So there's a chance to breathe new life into something or to start after something falls apart. So that was before I knew the tower was coming through. So you can definitely pick up the pieces and do something better and stronger now. Your guides are all around you. I saw a lot of them. It could just be because there's so many people in the room, but I saw at least 4, and they all want to help you out. They're trying to be direct, but you can have them be more subtle or gentle if you want to. Ask them how to show up. One thing that they were imparting for you was just to really act now. I'm getting the sense of urgency for new things to take place. So I would really love for you to start to do something now. Take that action now. Also, this is actually kind of fast forwarding way past April, but I feel like maybe later this year or even next year, you're going to get a chance to help others. They want me to kind of share it as a part of this message, though. When you get that chance, take it. You're going to grow from that. You may actually have a lot of fun in that role of nurturing or assistance. Let spirit show up. Again, tell it how you want to and work with your gifts. You definitely have intuitive energy that is present this month. So do something cool with it. In everyday communication, do your best to tailor your message. We have a lot of bulls here, and we have the King of Swords in reverse, so you want to make sure that you're not coming on too strong. But we also want to honor those messages, which is that it's time to speak up. Listen and meet whoever you're talking to in your life at their level, and then try to bring them up. You can't immediately bring them to a higher place. It's sometimes too much energetically. It's almost as if you were to get up from bed really fast and you're dizzy. Sometimes when people are in a higher frequency, they zone out a little bit. And if you've ever felt someone else's high frequency and you're not there yet, it can feel like that. If you're in a new job or partnership, try to get to know your boss. Try to let them get to know you. Or if you're the boss, try to get to know who you just hired. It feels like there's this exchange that needs to happen. Same thing in a relationship. You may have been with someone for like 5 years, but there's still things to uncover. And this is the time to really understand what those hidden blessings are, because I feel like there are gifts and skills that are being underutilized, or that person might be resenting it because you're not paying attention to this thing that they want to do. So take some time and just really listen. And if you're the one that's not being listened to, speak up. It sometimes takes that outspoken energy that we saw with the King of Swords to push things to the next level. Also, if you're in a short-term contract, you can make it longer. But my guides wanted me to remind you that money isn't the only currency or the only reason to do it. You got to look at the long-term sort of trajectory and think, does this make sense for me? Harmony within can bring that harmony around you and that unanimity that some of you are seeking here. And that's what Phlox was teaching us. And it says, again, he who lies in harmony within himself is in harmony with the universe. People just like being around you when you know who you are and what you want to do. There's a little bit of healing at the center here. I'm not worried about it, though, because to me, this is a cognitive Three of Swords, not necessarily a physical or literal one. This is a rebuilding card, and we see the rebuilding happening here. We see the Magician and the Tower coming through. We literally have both actors here in the Major Arcana, but in this Minor Arcana, we're actually seeing it take place. There's a choice, and some of you are looking at where people fall. This is a very discerning Seven of Pentacles. So this is like, where am I at? Where is this person? How does this work? Spend some time doing an internal audit of energy and figure out who's worth that sort of exchange of energy in your life. You are the shaman, you are the creator, you are the magician, you are the high priestess. March to the beat of your own drum and do something fun with that energy. But focus on it, and that is a piece of the magician that is always important. Invest in yourself and don't hold back. And that's the main message here with this bull. Timing is everything, but the Knight of Pentacles here is about moving forward, and I want to see movement. I don't want to see it in this sort of reverse state. So make the changes you need to make and then proceed. Speak up, speak out, speak often, but also make sure that you're listening and focusing on the right time to do all of the above. But the Three of Swords eventually become guides for you. And that's definitely part of what I saw. Sometimes we have to go through the ringer before we're able to really shine. We have the Nine of Wands here in the environment, showing that you're capable of surviving, you're stronger than you realize, you're stronger than others realize. And the important thing here is not to give up. If, however, you're being pushed to do something that doesn't feel right, speak up, speak out, ask for help. Nine of Cups, don't go to extremes, but please do have a good time. And then the Chariot card finally saying, pick a direction and stick with it. And if you can't get both sort of people in the same direction, it might be time to move to a different place, whether it's different job, different relationship, different roommate situation. Someone's pulling you down a different path, and it may not be what you want to do. And that's okay. That's why you're going to speak up. That's why you're going to exert power and move into the right direction. We have a very rose-centric health card here, choosing a path of peace and harmony, remembering, though, that love is messy. There are thorns. There are things that you have to work on. This month, whatever you lost, you can regain. That's what I see with this card. Focusing on healing the heart, either literally or metaphorically, is really at the center of this, and that's the most important thing. And yeah, that's the main thing that I want to focus on with those two things. Just don't go to extremes as well. With love, with wealth, there's abundance. So that was health. This is wealth. With if you're not feeling the abundance, or if they're not allowing the abundance to step in, then this card is really saying, then you're not in the right place, because you have everything that it takes to see that sort of fruitful harvest. So I want you to be able to enjoy it. The other thing with wealth is you can take something small and grow it. And that's what we were seeing with the flower too. So you have what it takes to create growth. For love, there's this protective energy coming through. It's your guides, it's your heart, it's yourself. You're also able to pull in a really high spirit. So I was joking around a little bit with someone in chat there, but I think invite that energy in now. Say, I'm ready now. I've done the work. And your high priestess here, kind of symbolized by the goddess Isis, is coming through and saying, you can do this. Spread your wings. Be who you truly are. There's a little bit, when I see the black cat, I also think of the Queen of Wands. So you have to kind of lead the path, show the way, and show that you're ready. Your nonverbal cues are going to be really important. So body language, facial expression, tone of voice, all of these things are just as important as what you do or how you say it. All right. Let's take a look now at some of the soul path energy. I want to look at the Three of Swords in the Tower. Let's look at what you can rebuild and what you can heal. We have the Emperor card. And as I was looking at it, I lost my voice for a second. And I still am. So for some of you, is there someone in your life that's holding you back from saying what you need to say? It's so funny. I've got that. I've got the Imogen Heap song in my head where she speaks through a vocoder. But I want you to say what you need to say and really be yourself. What I'm seeing really behind the Emperor card is the sun. And I'm thinking of the solar energy and the solar plexus and also the sun card, which is to just push out your energy and show that person who you are. I feel like there's somebody that's stuck in their own way of being and they're not willing or ready to look at you. I definitely felt the activation in the throat. What's cool on this one is, look at the little bees. Can you see the bees on that card? I feel like some of you are like those little worker bees. And it's time for you to get their attention and redirect the attention to something that they should be focusing on. Because it feels like someone's just missing the point or missing something right in front of their eyes. So you have what it takes to possibly move them or just move on. With the Emperor card in reverse, and again, this is all about you, your power, your solar plexus. I feel like you need to find a place where you feel the ability to rise up, to grow, to express yourself. So for some reason, it feels like you've been held back or you've muted your light because I don't want to see the sun. It should be rising, not kind of like setting here. So I want to see the sun rising. Your energy should be coming upward, and we were seeing the energy of the stars. So if there's a parent, teacher, boss, friend, anyone in your life that is somehow pushing down, pushing back, muting, dimming, you're going to push the dimmer switch off and go all the way up. You're going to go to like, the highest megawatts that you can. Put all of your energy out there and say no more. You're either going to see my light or you're going to go in another orbit around another star, because this isn't what you signed up for. So this is about empowerment and finding a place where you can feel supported, listened to, etc. Some of you may just be shy too. The Emperor card in reverse is kind of hidden power, and we have the Strength card here in the Nine of Wands, but also Strength reversed. So I'm just reminding you that you are this. You have the capacity to do this. We have a very young Emperor here. So for some of you, you may be questioning, do I deserve whatever it is that's coming into your life? And the answer is yes. You have to believe it. You have to believe it and be the sort of powerful energy of the High Priestess, okay? Let's move along here and look at the Magician and look at the High Priestess. What can you manifest this month? All right, anything you put your mind to. We have, notice this Hermit actually has a old-fashioned, why can't I think of it? Hourglass. And he also has he doesn't really have a torch. It's kind of like a staff here. But what I would say here, the Hermit energy always has the capacity to shine, but it's sort of like the work that you're doing on yourself. So what I would say is you've done what you need to do, but some of you are still kind of looking inward. If you can just now take that light, take that flame, take that energy and point it outward, you're going to see what is around you and ready to react to the internal growth. So my message with the Hermit is you've grown. Now shine the lantern and look around you, okay? It's safer to kind of be inside, to be within. And it's vulnerable to reveal, to put yourself out there. But we have that hourglass there. And what I was seeing earlier is that the time is now. So the time is now. We have the Ace of Wands here in the outcome, which is fantastic for you. This is basically saying, for some of you, this is about showing what you've done. And I think I used the metaphor in the newsletter this month of like the Olympic torch, right? So sometimes we are the one that's passing on the torch. Sometimes we're the one that's going to take that final torch and light the big Olympic flame, right? So I feel like you're somewhere in this journey. Maybe you've done everything you need to do and you're the one that's kind of passing on the torch. But for most of us, we're really interested in getting to the next level. So I feel like this is a month to hit the ignition and to really go bigger than what we even see here. Take that and then light the bigger flame. And that's what I was seeing. But it requires some grounding, some opening up and coming out of this and basically being the star, because to me, the sun is another star. And even though this is the Emperor, I'm seeing the solar energy here. So when you suddenly show your light that you've been building, then all of a sudden the sky is the limit. And we actually see the sky is the limit here in this Magician card, as you kind of see him tracing his own constellation up there or working his magic in the stars. So yeah, I think, sorry, I just shook the camera there. I think that the main thing for you is to come out of your shell, to hit the ignition or to pass on that baton and to really move forward, moving on, moving forward, moving up. So a couple of notes here. Before I go into the meditation, I would like you to think about a question. It's something that I've been doing this month. We'll see if I keep doing it. So a lot of you do have questions. So just think of one in your head that you'd like me to look at in the cards. And I will pull a card after the meditation, and I'll give you an interpretation that will help you with your question. So silent question while we're meditating, and I'll answer it after the meditation. Before we meditate, I'd just like to say thank you so much for the support. I'd love for you to follow me on social media. I know that when we do the meditation, we come out, you forget this stuff sometimes. So if you'd like to follow me on social media, please do it. It's at Nicholas Ashbaugh on most social media, and then at @Ashbaugh on Twitter. And on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, I use the stories to help remind you. And I'm starting to do some stuff on TikTok. You can find out about my book on Goodreads. Patreon is a great way to give back on a monthly basis as well. I saw a question about my book. So yeah, you can buy this on Amazon and a lot of other places. And I saw my guides put the link to the book. Looks like that. I'll pull it up at the end as well. And if you would like to show support, you can do a super sticker right now. You can also later use something called applause if you'd like to. You can go to my website too and do a one-time contribution if you'd like to do PayPal. One last thing before I get into the meditation, hit the thumbs up, hit subscribe, or hit the bell icon if you haven't already. It helps people discover the channel, and I really want to get this out to as many people as possible. This is my service, so I show up for about an hour and a half most days of the week, and I want to help people get the tools that they need to move on to the next level. So a simple like, subscribe, share, comment, etc. really helps with engagement. So thank you. So with this meditation, we want to focus on putting down some roots, which is interesting because I also want you to move forward, but it's possible to both move and also kind of feel like putting down the roots could be deciding like, this is my path, this is my person, this is my purpose. So I think it's a decisive energy that kind of helps you put down the roots. It's not sort of literally sticking yourself in one spot. It's a commitment. So I want you to think of something in your life right now. By the way, the meditation will last about 2 minutes, so just enjoy. But think about something in your life where you could really feel this sense of, I want growth, I want movement there, and I'm going to commit to it, just like you would to a person. Okay, so think about what that is. And I want you to imagine, I really like this energy of this magician card. So let's imagine that you're at the ocean and it's sunset. And as you're looking out at the beautiful ocean in front of you, or the sun is just set, you're looking at the stars. I want you to imagine that you could start to trace almost like a constellation, some sort of a path in your life in the stars. See it starting to light up. And imagine that you're playing your drum, or in this case, we'll be playing a singing bowl, and you're going to march to the beat of that song, that sound, that drum beat, okay? So see it and then imagine that it's destined in the stars, just like you would see, you know, the Big Dipper or Cassiopeia or something like that. You're gonna see it in the sky. All right, close your eyes, relax, breathe life into this new purpose, this new thing that you wanna do, and then create a sigil in the sky as well, something that is going to represent what it's going to look like. Take a moment to look up at the sky above you. Look at how far it reaches, how many lights are in the sky. Imagine that you're in a distant part of the continent or the globe where there's no city lights. It's just the resplendent stars sparkling above, reflecting in the water. And look into the water if you'd like to. Go to the edge of the water, a place where it's a little bit calm, a little bit more still, and see this constellation that you've discovered in the sky, this constellation that's your higher self, that's showing some sort of a talisman or a representation of who you are, what you will be. I want you to remember that, see it glowing, see it shining. Touch it, if you will, in the water. And as you touch it for that moment, feel that there's this electric connection to it and that you have breathed life into this possibility. Whatever you've committed to is now one step closer to being. You just have to catch up to it. It's basically out there in the future and you're walking towards it. And now I want you to think about something that you need clarity on. Perhaps it's in relation to how to make this commitment happen, how to make this goal happen. Maybe it's something else that I didn't have a chance to cover today, but do your best to solidify that question, meditate on it. I'm going to pull another card and we're going to see if there's another message that comes through specific to what you're collectively thinking about out there. Okay. So we have the Four of Swords reversed. This is actually saying, wake up. It's time to move. So the Four of Swords typically is a card of rest and relaxation and integration. So for some of you, what I think that this is saying is now is the time to be active, to move it forward, to also pay attention to what's coming through during sleep. A lot of times magical and intuitive messages can be coming through to you. Some of you are in need of a vacation, but what I see here is that there's not time at the moment to do it. So I would say push through with the Nine of Wands that we saw earlier. The Four of Swords is really saying there's this last little sprint here. It could be like 4 weeks. So I feel like for many of you, April is that place where you don't want to give up, even though you're wondering, can I do it? Why am I doing this? Will this happen? The High Priestess is saying, yeah, you gotta think differently. You have to think, yes, it's happening. Yes, I will do it. Yes, I'm ready for it and I'm deserving of it. And I'm not going to doubt myself. And good things will happen. The last piece of this is that it's time to let go. This is the gentlest of release cards. Basically, this is just letting things, basically time heals all. That would be part of the Four of Swords. The Six of Swords is you deciding to move away from something. The Four of Swords is just, it kind of fizzles out or goes away. And eventually it's like a scar, it heals and you don't see it, it fades away. And that's what I'm seeing here is that there's something from the past that will get better. It will get easier. You will feel that you can move past this. For those of you that have been going through something difficult, the Four of Swords is definitely saying the recovery, the end, the better days are within reach. So focus on those instead. Okay. That's the final message for today. A beautiful one it was as well. Thank you so much, everyone, for being present here. I want to quickly wrap up on the whatever I didn't have a chance to cover earlier here. Couple of notes here. I'm going to do a collective reading on the 28th. I forgot to mention that. Everybody's welcome. I'm starting to do that as a regular feature of my schedule. So usually it's the last Sunday of the month, so the date will shift. But for some reason, this month and last month started on the same day of the week. So the dates are all the same. So it'll be on the 28th. If you would like to just get more information about who I am or what I do, I pinned a link to my website. You can find my schedule information, information about my book, and previous videos on my website. If you like what you see and you want to give back in a monthly sort of way, you can do it by clicking the join button, or you saw links from my moderators earlier. You can join me on PayPal or Patreon. Thank you for everyone who did a super chat or super sticker. It helps a lot. You already got the links to my social media, but I'll throw it up one more time. A lot of times notifications may not come through on YouTube. So if you follow me on social media, you'll get them, especially like I said, Instagram, Facebook. And if you're not on YouTube, you should hit that subscribe button anyway. But and that's it. I'm going to show a copy of the book real quick because I know someone asked about it. This is especially cool for people that like science fiction or fantasy, like Lord of the Rings or Dune, even A Wrinkle in Time. But this is more on the level of like Dune or Lord of the Rings. It's a little bit of a read. It's both paperback, hardcover, and then also digital. And it's available both here in the United States and worldwide. So you can go to my website and find out how you can get it, where you can get it, etc. And thank you so much, everyone. Special thanks to my moderators for sticking around and helping me out with all of this. And of course, to all of you, Taurus, for doing the work on yourself. You're the reason that I show up, and I had lots of messages to bring through, so I hope that you enjoyed today's reading. I'll be back again tomorrow. Let's see, I'll be doing Gemini next. Reminder that my schedule is pretty easy to remember. It's every Sunday and Monday and every Thursday and Friday. You can see the complete schedule on my website. And also, I always put the next public video, or the next upcoming video public after this is done. So you should be able to see that link and set a reminder if you'd like to. All right, take care of yourselves. Have a great week ahead, a great month ahead. Much love and light. And thank you again.